Hey folks, Bearded Appliance Repair here. We got a repair video on this dead display. What we are doing in this video is replacing the user interface. Did another video about how to find out whether or not it's your user interface or if it's your main board or even a power problem. So if you need to find out if you need this part before you install it, this video will be linked in the description below as well. So before you guys get into it, you do want to make these checks because you do not want to put in a part you don't need. That's just a waste of money, especially when it comes to control panels. So whenever we are replacing this user interface, we do need that kick plate off. That customer did have it off for me already, so that's why that's already off. I disconnected that power harness that went up to the control panel, and I pointed at those 2 1/4-inch screws to get this whole door off. The only gripe I have with GE is they do make it a little bit harder to work on these things. They are fantastic for consumers. I actually have a GE dishwasher in my house. I'm a big fan of GE products. So, but to get to that control panel, we do have to get this door off, and on this one here, it'll just give you a little bit of trouble. I'm going to try and show you guys how to do it because the way that these hinges work, they are springed. So to get the door off, you actually have to have the hinges in one spot. So what they want you to do is use an Allen wrench to hold it in one spot. And I know that don't make any sense to you right now, but I'm going to try my best to get a good look at it because there is a hole. You can see it on that panel there on my right to the right of my pointer finger there, and then there's another one right underneath this, right there. So you want to line those 2 holes up and push an Allen key through that hole. I like to use this 10 gauge wire here. It's the perfect size for it. So if you guys happen to have 10 gauge wire laying around your house somewhere, cut you off a little 2-3 inch piece of it, and as you open the door, those 2 holes I showed you, those will line up and you will push that wire through. And when you push it through, it'll hold that hinge so it won't pull back on you. I mean, you can get this door off without putting that in there, but good luck to you getting it back on. You need to put those in there so you can get the door back on. You can get it off, you just can't get it back on. So, and that's actually the harder part, is getting the door on. So you want to make sure that you are holding those hinges in place with an Allen key or that 10 gauge wire that I got. And this isn't going to be a good view, but I tried to get another view of putting it in on this left hand side, and it's just, I failed you guys on this one. But hopefully the explanation on the other side will make sense to you, and you won't be able to see it anyways, so you'll have to feel for that hole, and just push that Allen key in once it reaches the other hole as you open the door. Little annoying, but it's not the worst thing. We got some more fun stuff to get into once we actually get this door panel off. Or once we get the door off, you actually got to split the door apart to actually get to the user interface, and I'll show you how to do that as well. But I'll pick up the camera here in a second, and those hinges are in one spot, so it'll kind of be, what is that, 10-15 degree angle, something like that. Once it's hinged there, I will also remove this silverware tray. It's a lot easier to get it out that way. But you pretty much just push up from the top and pull up at the same time, and the door just pops right off the hinges. That harness is clipped in a certain spot, and you should be able to just pull them off. And on this one here, this one has insulation. underneath that plastic tub area, and I really don't see that on a lot of these. This is one of the only models I've seen that on. It might be because this is the only one that's fallen down, and that's might be the reason, only reason I've noticed it. But yeah, I was just looking at it like, oh, never seen this before. Yeah, I guess the heat just melted away that glue that's holding it on. But anyways, we're done looking at that. We got to get this door part so we can get to that user interface so we can swap it out. So how we do that is we take a 1/4 inch nut driver, and we got 2 1/4 inch screws on the bottom side of this door. I'm going to show them to you real quick. You got one there, and then one on the other side. When you get those off, well, you also got to take off the vent cap, which I'll show you that after we get these screws out. But you got to have that off, otherwise the door won't split apart, because the vent is on one side of the door, and then you got the plastic piece that holds the soap dispenser and stuff on the other side of the door. But yeah, that's that vent cap I was telling you about. If you can't get it with your hands, you can use needle nose pliers. Just turn it counterclockwise. So to get this guy apart, after you get those 2 screws out and that vent cap off, is you pretty much hold the handle with your left hand if you have it in this position, and then you pull up on the plastic part on the inside. Some of you guys may have a stainless steel tub, so it'll be stainless steel on the control panel side, and then the door panel has the handle. Some of you guys may not have a handle either, but most of these things, they come apart the same way. But if you pull it up enough, you do have to push back that little vent piece too. I don't know if you guys saw that, but push that in, it'll make it a little bit easier to pull that thing up to split it apart. It's pretty much like a sandwich. So yeah, we got that door split apart, so we can get to this control panel now. There is 4 more 1/4 inch screws, and there's that harness, like that other issue that it could be. If you guys wanted to, you guys can check continuity on each one of those wires. There's 5 of them, so or might only be 3 going to the control panel, and the other 2 go to the dispenser. But anyways, 4 screws, taking that out, and then the control panel cover casing thing comes out, and then we got another step, and I find it a lot easier if you have a little pick tool, and I use this sucker almost daily. So if you're a guy like me where you work on these things every day, having one of these pick tools will save you a lot of time and hassle. If you had a small enough screwdriver, you can get it out too, but these pick tools, I mean, they're perfect for getting that cover off. There's just clipped in, by little plastic clips, and you just push that little pick tool in, and it releases them, and that cover comes out, so you can get that user interface out. I mean, it is just a little tiny little board too. One cool thing, being a technician, what I like about these GE products, which is another thing we're going to be going over, is you can have this one part on your truck, and it can cover, 30 different dishwashers. So whenever we're putting in this new user interface here, we will have to set the personality on it. And you guys may have saw me touch that metal casing for the door. Before you touch these boards, you do want to ground yourself, and all that entails is touching metal. Could be your refrigerator, anything metal will ground yourself to discharge any of the static electricity on you. So I'm about to show you here the 2 differences in these boards. You got the black piece there, and then there's nothing on the top one. The top one's the old one, the one with the black thing. That is where you set your personality. Personality is determined by the first 6 digits of your model number. So ours is Golf Delta Tango 625. We'll show you here, Golf Delta Tango 625. So you find that on that sheet of paper, and you find out what personality it is. And on this one, it's personality 11. And you pretty much want to make those black little tabs that are on the new user interface look like the ones in that picture right there. And I've done this a bunch of times, and the way I'm doing it now is upside down. There's numbers, like if you saw in the picture there, it was 8421. There's numbers on the board too that go 8241. And I'm putting the personality in on this one upside down. So don't do this. It'll save you some time if you don't do it this way. And I'll find that out here in a minute. But again, it's wicked cool because you only need this one part for like 30 different dishwashers. I didn't count all those model numbers, but that's just a guess. But yeah, that's me realizing that it was upside down. So I'm taking them back out. And I'm going to set the personality again. And when you're doing this anyways, you do want to, bring it up to that piece of paper just to make sure you have it right. Because if you set the personality wrong, what will happen is your start button could be your bottle jets button, or your start button can be your select cycle button. That's what the personality does. It tells the board what the buttons do. So whatever button you're pressing, you want the heated dry to turn on whenever you press heated dry. And if it's something else, like select cycle or whatever, you'll be like, gosh, there's something wrong with this dishwasher. When all you needed to do was just set the personality correctly on it. But personality is set. So we're going to put this guy back in its control panel holder. Once we get it set there, we will get that plastic cover back on, and it just snaps back in. The hardest part for the rest of this, guys, is just getting the door back on. So, or getting it sandwiched back together too. And it's a good idea to find out if you're putting this thing in upside down too. Doing this a lot, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna just steam through this. This is gonna be done real quick. But yeah, even professionals, do things backwards all the time. But we got that thing. It won't go in unless it's the right way. So if you get it wrong, you'll know, because it just won't go in. If it don't go in, don't force it. The 4 screws on this one, the 2 long ones, if you take them out, they're in the middle. And you got the short ones on the edges. You can't put the long ones where the short ones go. And you can't put the short ones where the long ones go. It just won't hold anything. So just make sure you guys put those in the right spot. Don't forget to plug that thing in either. That's one thing I have done in the past, is forget to hook up. Because you're like, well, I guess that wasn't it. I guess I was wrong. I misdiagnosed that thing. Then you take it apart and be like, I just forgot to plug that sucker in. But anyways, make sure that sucker's plugged in. And then we get to put the door, or we get to sandwich the door back together. And there are holes on the stainless steel side, or the door panel side that you see from the outside. There's holes there. And then there's little slides that go in from the inner door panel side. You just got to line those up and push the outer door panel into. How I do it, it's I pretty much lay it down. Well, once I get this thing lined up, I lay it down, and I like to pull the metal panel to me, and I'll hold the bottom part of the door with my knees. You won't see it hit my knees, but you'll see me pull in the outer panel. There we go. It's pretty much set. Well, now it is. She's set now. Lined up. So I'm holding the panel with my knees while I'm pulling in the outer panel. So I got my hands around it, just pulling it in. You can tell by that vent. You can see that vent moving. So that's how you know it's moving. The vent's connected to the outer door panel on this one.
Yes, sir.
But once that's set, you just put those 2 screws back in on the bottom side of that door. And she's pretty much ready to get back on there. One thing I haven't done, and I will do here soon, is put that vent cap back on. Make sure you guys do that, or your dishwasher will leak if you don't put that back on. So one thing to keep in mind, if you get a leak after putting this door panel on, is, you know, making sure that thing is on and nice and tight. But yeah, getting the door on, pretty much the opposite way you took it off. You know, you got to put it in at an angle, and wiggle that thing all the way down. Yeah, we got that harness. It kind of got stuck in between the door and the dishwasher tub. So I'm getting that thing out right now, and I'm going to route it back through that insulation like it was. And once you guys, like, when you get to this point, and you get that harness out, back routed through where it's supposed to go, and you plug it in, you guys can turn the power back on to this thing, and you can see if it works. If you get lights and stuff up there, you're like, okay, we got a good start here. We can actually run this thing, see if there's anything else wrong with it. It's not likely that something else has gone wrong with it. If you got a dead display, whenever I run into these, I mean, it's usually, you know, just the user interface that's gone out. So, but it's always a good idea to test it anyways, especially if you're a guy like me. You want to fill it up with water, you want to let it wash a little bit, let it drain. That's all these dishwashers do, guys. Fill it with water, pump the water, drain the water. That's all they do. But yeah, what I'm doing here is I'm getting out the wire I have holding the hinges in place. That one on the right hand side, and then the one on the left hand side. If you got your Allen keys or whatever, you take those out now, and you can close the door. And you'll know if that door is not pushed down all the way, you'll know because that door will not close like it's supposed to. And if you guys are doing this and it's your own dishwasher, or if you've been working on these things, you probably know what the door is supposed to feel like whenever you open and you close it. So if there's something off there, you just got to find out, you know, what's preventing it from closing like it's supposed to. Is it a little bit off kilter, or, you know, is there just something stuck? I mean, could be a number of different things. So there's that little insulation, so we're going to push that back up. That door panel holds it in there pretty good. No need to glue it again. And every time I've tried to glue in something anyways, it just comes right back off. But right here, guys, once you plug this thing back in here, you guys can turn the power back on to it, and you can check to see if you got lights up there. If you got lights up there, your repair is pretty much done. Just don't forget to put in those 2 screws on the bottom of the door. Or what I'm noticing, well, I'll notice it here in a few, that vent cap is not put back on. But boom, there we go. We got some lights. So we will have a working dishwasher. With this one here, that little orange light, it's just pretty much telling you, hey, it's on. Blinking light means it's off. It's telling you, hey man, you forgot to press start. Press start. It'll work if you press start. But yeah, here's that vent cap. Putting that vent cap back on.
They did the exact same thing. It worked.
We can run that dishwasher, and she'll be pretty much good to go. Yeah, last things we got to do is just put those bottom screws in that hold the door to the hinges, and then put that kick plate on. Another thing you guys probably want to do though, especially if it's your own, is keep that kick plate off for a little bit, just to make sure it doesn't leak. Occasionally, I've changed this board out a bunch of times, and I can't say I've ran into a leak, or I can't think of a time where I've caused a leak, taking the door off and putting it back on. But I know it's something that can happen, so you just want to make sure that there is no leaks after you get this job finished. But anyways, that's pretty much it, guys. That's pretty much it. That's how you change the user interface on a GE dishwasher. So if this helps, give me a like, subscribe, and I do appreciate y'all watching.